Couple of introduction classes has been taken. It's only a demo class only, so it is not an the actual. So it is not a complete session actually. So it is going to be just an what I can say that it's just like an introduction classes only we have been started. So don't worry about those classes because it will just give you some idea about what is meaning of data science. But today's class we are going to discuss a complete understanding about um, uh, what is exactly the data science. Again, we'll have a discussion about that. Okay. So hope all the remaining guys, I can see you like who has been joined already in the previous classes, right? John, Lokesh, Ram Prasad, Shravan, Suresh. I think all of you guys has been joined earlier itself. I think so. This will be the third class for you, right? Okay then. So there is only one participant who has been joined for the today's class. So it is an a kind of an discussion is going on. So like what is machine learning, what we are going to do as part of the machine learning, how the machines will learn. I shown you one small example with the data. With that example also we have been seen in the last class with a small toy example I have been shown you. So starting with the small issues, small problems like can you find the next number? Sometimes you'll get it in Facebooks and WhatsApps. They will give you some series of numbers and they'll ask you what is the next number it is going to be there. So we can solve starting from that kind of a small examples, and we can decide to whom the loan has to be approved. Credit card approval is there. How much loan we have to give. Okay, diagnosis positive, negative. So we can do a lot of real examples based on this particular machine learning algorithms. And I told you the powerfulness. So here, who is exactly the powerfulness here is, it is not the language Python or it is not some other language. It is going to be completely the powerfulness of the algorithms actually. So whatever the algorithms we are using, so those has become very powerful from the last couple of years, from a couple of decades we can say. They have become more popular. It is a powerfulness of the algorithms what we are using actually. So whatever the algorithms we are going to be learning, I'll tell you later. So each and every algorithm we are going to discuss about the in-depth about that, how it will works, based on what criteria there are going to be gets working, how to handle that algorithms. Mainly we have to know how to handle the algorithms. So they will works in a different ways they will works actually. So I'll talk about them. We'll talk about that kind of an application, what we call it as. Later we'll work on that actually. Like for example, um, this is a two-dimensional free space. I have two data points are there actually. So if you want to find the distance between these two data points, so this is what we are going to call it as an Euclidean distance, if you remember. So this is what we call it as an Euclidean distance. Sometimes we cannot find the distance directly like this. We have to travel from here to here, and we have to travel from here to here. So if you travel like this, that is going to be nothing but what we are going to call it as a city block distance, or what we call it as a Manhattan distance. So some algorithms works on based on Euclidean distance, some algorithms based on the Manhattan distance. So we have to know what is those actually. So understanding what internals of the algorithm we have to know. So when to go for a Manhattan distance, when to go for an Euclidean distance, we have to understand those particular things. So later we'll work on them. Don't worry about those particular applications. So once again, just we have a look at the review of the last two classes. We have some data. The past data is there. The historical data, the past data is there. So give this data to the machine. Machine is going to understand the data, and based on that, we'll get some insights. And these insights can be used for prediction purpose. And if you make it a little bit more clear and clear, so data is first given to a user actually. User takes the data actually. So there will be an expert will be there. That is nothing but what we call it as a machine learning expert or a machine learning engineer, what he is going to do. There is an historical data. First user will take the data. And I told you the different techniques, do some analytics, do some visualizations, do some cleansing, do a lot of things actually. That is what we call it as. What he is going to do is feature selection, or he is going to do some kind of a feature extraction, what he is going to do that. This stage is what we call it as a feature selection, feature extraction. What features are required? What features are important for us? So which features will decide the target variable? So some kind of an selection and extraction has to be done. Then this data is given to the machine, and the machine is going to get the insights. and these insights can be used for prediction purpose. This is what exactly we have been got discussed about that. Like for example, so let us say I have a variable x, y, and z is there. For example, if x is 1 and y is, let us say, 100, the z is going to be, let us say, 10. If x is 2 and y is going to be 150, the z value is going to be 20. So if x is going to be 3, and just an example of a toy example, let us say it is going to be, let us say, minus 200, the value is going to be 30. If the x is 4 and the y value is going to be, let us say, something like minus 500, the value is equals to 40. Now let us say that I want to predict the value of z, but if you observe carefully, the z is not depending on x and y. The z is depending only on the x only. So if I give x and y and ask you to predict the value of z, it does something different way it is doing. But simply, we don't give all the features to the machines. So which features are important for a decision? Only that factors only I'm going to give. So I'll say that you find out the predict the value of z only by using the value of x. So I don't give the value of y because y is not important here now. System does not knows that. We have to identify that and we have to do that. So which features are important for the particular machine in deciding? So this is the target variable, and which features are important in predicting the z variable. Only that is what we have to do that. So that is feature selection, feature extraction. Sometimes we have to generate some new features has to be generated, and based on the insights, we can do some kind of a prediction what we can do. So independent of whatever the value of x, y value here now, even if I give 1000 also, the value is going to be not decided by the y. It is decided only by the x variable only. It is decided, not by using the y variable. So that kind of understanding the feature selections, which features are important for us, which features are going to be the dependent. So we have to identify that, and according to that, we have to make the machines to learn actually. So this is what we have been got discussed in the last couple of classes, and what are the different roles and all these things we have been got discussed. So like we talked about something like I discussed about the data analyst. It may be a machine learning engineer, or it may be data visualization experts may be there, or a data cleansing experts. So there are different roles are there. It's not that you have to be working on all the roles. So data collection may be done by one team of people. Data cleansing is going to be done by one team of people. Machine learning algorithms, evaluating of model performance. Evaluation is done by some other. There are some experts in machine learning who are experts in evaluating the model performance. So those will take care about those particular things. Okay, and that is the case. What we can say that, and one more thing, guys. I just want to convey a message from Durgasoft. When Durgasoft people are trying to contact you, for most of the people, they didn't given a proper numbers. I think they didn't given a contact proper numbers. They have been given. I think so. You're registering from your mail IDs. Um, uh, there is no response from the participants for some of the people. So the Lucasart people has been messaging me saying that just inform the students to give a proper numbers so that they can contact you, they can get back to you and discuss about uh, the further classes. How do you go ahead with the further classes? So please give your correct proper numbers so that they can contact you. Otherwise, you can directly contact the Durgasoft. I think you have their numbers. You can contact them directly. Because from Monday onwards, we are going to start with the regular classes. So whoever are interested to continue the classes, they have to inform the Durgasoft team so that they can give you the link, proper links, and they'll give you all the different access to the videos. Okay. So that is the thing what we are going to be discussing about that. So just give a minute once.
Okay, guys, we'll continue. Some being it is working from home, we have some disturbances coming. A lot of people. Okay, so let's continue the session. Um, so today's discussion here is whatever we have been got discussed in the last two classes only. Just like a presentation, I'm going to give you the. I'm just like a presentation. I'm going to give you the data. We'll just have a discussion about some with a small presentation. Just take quickly, just a half an hour of time is sufficient for us. So we'll have a look at this particular presentation. So whatever we have been discussed in the last two classes, just like a presentation, I'm going to share you the details. So let us have a look at the presentation once. Just a minute, it's loading actually. Okay, so this is just a conclusion of what is data science in a quick understanding. So we'll get a complete clear idea about what is machine learning actually in the today's session. So this is what already we have been already seen. This is about myself. Give me a minute, it's loading actually. Okay, so let us have a look at the slideshow. So just will completely just go through this explanation and just give a I will give a clear idea about what is machine learning for the today's session. So this is about myself, and already I given this introduction. So I have almost 17 plus years of experience, and coming to the data science, I have almost 4 plus years of experience on the specifically on the data science related. And my complete specialization is on the data management, and completely my technologies are related to the data related technologies only. So this is already given some introduction. So if you have anybody joined for the today's class, does not matter. So this is our points to be discussed exactly. What is data science, and who is a data scientist, and who can be a data scientist, and what exactly modern data scientist is required, and what is a data science workflow, industry usage of data science, there is a use cases, and what are the different technologies, that we are going to use as of the this particular the data science implementation. So the first point is, what is data science? So we already discussed about that. Data science is nothing but some kind of, what we can say, that a collection of some techniques, some methodologies. We are going to use various scientific machines, we are going to use different types of processing techniques we are going to use. Finally, the basic idea about a data science is getting the insights from the data. It may be either a structured data or it may be unstructured data. It may be either a structured or it may be an unstructured data. So data science is nothing but, we can also call it as a data driven science. So data science is also called as a data driven science. So why we are going to call it as a data driven science? Because it is completely driven only by the data only. Without having a data, we cannot work here, because machines learns only from the data. Without having the data, it does not work based on our instructions. It works, or it learns only from the data. If you say learn this one, system cannot understand it. So don't think that machines will learn based on our instructions. They don't learn based on our instruction. Give the data, from the data only they can learn. That's why we call it as a data driven science actually. And it is one of the area where there is a multiple methodologies we are going to learn, scientific techniques, scientific and mathematical techniques we are going to use, and various different type of machines we are going to use. Finally, our discussion here is getting some insight from the data, and we can also call it as something called as a data mining. So just if you see this presentation, we'll understand this here now. So we can just see the things. So data science is also called as a data driven science actually. So at the bottom you can see data science is also called as a data driven science. So which is an interdisciplinary field about some scientific methods. We are going to learn a different type of scientific methods, and there are some different types of processing techniques we are going to use, and systems we are going to use. I told you. So the computing power of the systems made this particular machine learning and the data science has become more popular from the recent years. It is due to the increase of the computing capability of our machines actually. Earlier also we have it. I'll tell you that history about that. It was started in 1960s, but why it was not that much popular? Due to some not that much efficient machine learning algorithms, and it is not due to the computational power of the systems actually. So due to that, it has been taken a what we can say, that it has taken a lot of time to become this machine learning to be a popular one actually. So getting some insight from the data in various forms, either it may be structured format or unstructured format, and this is going to be very similar to something what we are going to call it as a data mining, what we are going to call it as. And this is existing whatever the existing state of data, which is going to be some inefficient data actually, and the future data is going to be something like this. So we have a data. From the data we'll get some all the information, and the information is going to be converted in insights, and insights are going to be converted into an action, a straightforward application, scalable application actually. Whereas whenever we talk about an existing system, it is a closed architecture actually. So the main problem is going to be, it is going to be a closed architecture, and a lot of tools we have to use it actually. So different types of tools what we are going to be using, various different types of tools what we have to do. So network data is going to be some kind of a limited is going to be there. So these are the some of the drawbacks of the existing system, which is going to be nothing but a closed architecture what we are going to be using actually. So this is just to understand how the data science and all this particular application has been done. And quickly speaking, who is going to be a data scientist actually? It is going to be, who is going to be a data scientist. To understand that, a simple understanding here is, we know statisticians. Actually, statisticians is the people who are expert in the statistics actually. So they don't have that much. They don't use. Correctly speaking, they are not going to use that much effectively about this particular all these IT, that is a programming languages. There are not that much popularly. There are going to be gets users actually. So there are going to be very less use about this particular the IT and the software. They don't use it. Mostly they depend on the Excel sheets, and there are going to they mostly depend on the Excel sheets only. They don't perform, they don't use that many about this particular programming languages. But whenever we want to use this kind of scientific machines and all these things, there should be little bit awareness about the this particular programming languages, but there are not that much aware about this particular programming languages. Okay. So what they are going to do is, To a statistician who is an expert in statistician, so you add some computer skills to that. You can add the computer skills to a statistician. So a person who was good at IT skills or the software skills, compared to the other statisticians, other statisticians, he was a little bit good at the computer skills. And whenever he was compared to the IT people, he was good at the statistician. So simple to say that a statistician and an IT person, a statistician and a computer skill person is going to make a person as a real data scientist actually. So a person who is better at statistics, IT software engineers, they are not good at the statistics actually. So a person who was good at the statistics compared to other software engineers and better at software engineering compared to the any other statisticians. So a combination of statistics and computer skills makes a person as a data scientist. So a data scientist, when he compared with the statistician, he was good at the software skills. When a data scientist is compared with an IT person, he is better at the statistics. A combination of these two is going to make a person as a real data scientist. It is going to be there. And who can be a data scientist? As I said that, who is a data scientist, I told you. Now, who can be the data scientist actually? So data scientist is nothing but what exactly we can say that, which is going to be nothing but a combination of maths and statistical knowledge with computer skills, and which is going to be nothing but we can say about the domain expert is also required. Some kind of a domain knowledge, subject matter expertise. So a subject matter experts is also going to be gets required. So as of this particular applications. So domain expertise, a maths and statistical knowledge and computer skills. So in computer skills, we learn the languages like Python, basic computer skills like Python, R, or it may be some other languages we are going to use. We have to learn some mathematical and statistical knowledge, some kind of statistics like Bayes and theorems. We have linear algebra in the maths, calculus. These are some maths and statistics, and a little bit domain expertise, a domain knowledge is required. So I told you one example. So X, Y, and Z. So Z is really related with X, Y or not? So by looking at the values, you can understand. But when you go to the real time, which factors are important? Some domain experts can easily identify that. So to decide whether the loan has to be approved by a customer or not. So what are the important factors are there? Is it only the age of the person, or is it gender of the person? The domain experts knows about that actually. So we have to take some help of the domain experts also. So this is exactly what exactly modern data scientist is required. As I told you, coming to the programming and database, some knowledge of Python, some knowledge of R, some kind of an SQL and NoSQL, relational algebra, some kind of a MapReduce concept which are related to big data systems. Coming to maths and statistics, I told you some Bayes and theorem is there, supervised and unsupervised learning. Right now we've been discussed about that. Communication and visualizations, there is nothing but data visualization. I told you, you can also become a data visualization expert, storytelling skills, what we call it as. So whatever the data that is there, instead of looking at the data, better if you visualize it, it can be more and more understandable to the end users actually. And domain knowledge is required. So curious about the data, problem solver, some kind of skills are required actually. So the data scientist is one of the sexiest job in the 21st century. It is really hard to find a real data scientist. It's really very hard to find a real data scientist. So you can see that is a multidisciplinary skills. There are so many skills are required, ranging from an intersection of mathematics, a mathematic experts, a statistical expert, computer science, communication, and some kind of a business knowledge. Finding a data scientist is very hard, and finding people who understand who is a data scientist is also really hard. Understanding who exactly a data scientist is also really hard actually. So just to example, what exactly who is a data scientist? A combination expert in maths and statistics, not a complete expert, a little bit expert in maths and statistics, programming of databases, communication and visualizations, domain knowledge, and software skills. So I done my certification program in IIIT Hyderabad. So mainly the lectures, whoever the professors who are going to deliver the lectures, they are not any software specialist actually. They are not. They are the PhDs. Whoever we have been met, almost all those are the PhDs in mathematics only. So they have done. They're completely mathematics experts only. So they only teaches only the theoretical concept. They are not that much aware about this, whatever the Python and all these things.
they'll give you the background behind that, and we are going to implement that with the help of the Python actually. So they are only mathematicians. Completely, they have done PhDs from IITs and IISc in Bangalore. So they have done the PhDs. So the professors who teaches there in the IIIT Hyderabad is completely PhD in mathematics only. They are not. There are some people who are PhDs in computer vision and all these things, but most of the people are the PhDs in mathematics only. So completely, it's a mathematical background with a knowledge of some software skills will make a real data scientist. So here we can't become a real data scientist. I told you, we can become a machine learning expert actually. So how the data is going to be gets processed actually, I told you. So we have to collect the data from the real world. So we have to collect the data from the real world. So like I can talk one small example about this. Like for example, I want to develop one application. Simple, we can say that a kind of an in our mobiles, we have a face recognition is there, unlocking the phone with a face. So as you know that locking and unlocking can be done with our face. Even in our laptops also it will be there, but not in all the laptops. In Microsoft laptops are there. So in Microsoft laptops, we have that actually. We have that feature. Even in some advanced laptops also, we can have that feature with a face unlocking is there. You just need not to type any keyword, any password or any we don't require any pin. Just you stand before that particular one, it identifies your face and automatically unlocks automatically. So it is a kind of an face unlocking feature is going to be gets available in some of the advanced laptops. It will be available. So how the machine knows? So there is this is a person. How it will knows that? So uh, whenever I unlock, whenever I registered my photo with my laptop, so how it will knows that? So this is my person actually. It was already trained. It was already trained by multiple images. So we'll give a lot of images to the particular machine, saying that this is a face. This is the how we have to identify the face. So there is a raw data is collected from the real world. So collecting a raw data is very easy. I can just collect a lot of images, face images, I can collect it. So you can just go to the Google and we can collect a lot of face images. We can collect a lot of face images can be collected. You can just go to the Google and just if we type the images of the faces actually, people faces actually. So go to the Google and type people faces images. If you say, you will get a lot of faces we are going to be getting actually. So the people faces I require it actually. So go to the images, you will get hundreds of images what we are going to be getting actually. So a lot of images we can get it actually. A lot of images are there. So see, all these are a lot of images. We can get a lot of images are there. So we collect the images from the real world actually. So we'll collect all these faces, collect from different people. So I can say that I can develop an application. So whenever I given an image, whether it is a male or a female, it can identify that. So let us an example. I want to develop an application which I want to make the system to read it, and it has to tell me, it has to predict whether it is an image of a male person or whether it is an image of an this one. And even we have a lot of apps are there. If you give the image to the particular machine, it can tell you approximately what is the age of the person actually. So we have that kind of a machines are there. If you give the just if you tell that, if you just give the image, it can easily identify what is the age of that particular person actually. So how it is going to be gets done? Let us imagine that I want to train a machine which can predict the age of the person. So collect the data. So collect the data. Exactly, I cannot say what is the age of this person, but I can say whether it is a male or a female. So collect all the data from the real world actually. From the real world, we can collect the data. So let us say that I have collecting some male and female images. I want to develop a machine learning model which want to predict whether it is a male or a female message for some particular purpose actually. Some kind of population counting or some kind of a survey is taking place actually. So let us say that I have a group of people standing there. So I want to find out how many females are there, how many males are there. So nowadays a lot of surveys going to take place. So when the person just stands before the camera, so my machine will identify whether it is a female or whether it is a male actually. But machines won't say that it is male and it is female. So it says that female is going to be 80% chances, male is going to be 90% chances. It won't say that exactly male, exactly female. We have a lot of applications are there. So first, after collecting the images, we collected the images actually.
we collected a lot of images from the real world, it can easy to collect the real world, but you have to mark them whether they are female or male. So by looking at the faces, we can identify that it is a male and it is a female. And then we have to do some data processing. Images cannot be read directly by the machine. From the images, we have to get the data. So that is a little bit higher level. We know that images are created only by a small pixels, which is going to be RGB pixels actually. Every pixel is made of 3 parameters. One is a red, green, and a blue, a value which can be between 0 to 255 actually. So the color identification is going to be done by the pixel representation only. So we have to get that particular image RGB values, and we have one models which can read the faces from that. We will get only the data which was related to them. So this data related to the, we have to do some kind of a cleansing, because in an image we have not only the face, we have other background is there. So we have to clean all that particular data set has to be gets done. So converting an image to a numerical value, we'll convert it. Converting an image to a numerical value is very simple. Just the RGB values will be there. And coming from that numerical values, we have to remove all the background, clean the data actually. We have to remove all the background. There is a lot of distortions will be there. So we have to clean that particular data. And then we do some kind of an analysis on that particular data sets. This is a data science process, what we'll do that. If you are not satisfied with the analysis, again go back and again further reprocess the data. Again further cleaning is required, we can do the cleaning. After the exploratory data analysis is done, in short we call it as an EDA. So data is analyzed, data is cleaned, data is collected, we have done all these things. Then we are going to train the machine learning models. So I'll give the data to the machine and ask them, so please analyze them. So please understand this particular data and develop a ML model. So ML model is going to be gets created. And whatever we have been got the ML models, that can be that can be communicated as a visual report, and based on that we can make decisions. So in this example, like a credit card approval is there, loan approvals, this is going to be based on the decisions what we are going to do that. But in this example of classifying the male and female applications, it is something relevant to deep learning concepts actually. These are not included in our course because we'll work only with the machine learning algorithms only. So model, and we have in model and algorithms will be developed, and that can be given as a product. I can deploy it into a mobile app, and I can give that particular mobile application to the real world. So just put the image, just you can put the image of that, and automatically based on that, if you take the image, automatically tells you whether it's a male or a female. So yesterday I got one small requirement. It is one academic project actually. What they are saying here is, there is a video. This is a text what we are having. There is a video. In the video, there is a person who is speaking actually. Just the person who is speaking actually. So based on the movement of the lip, based on the movement of the lip, so we have to get the text actually. It is only completely not based on the voice. It is just based on the movement of the lips. We have to get that particular text. So it has to be converting. It's not voice to text. Converting voice to text is very easy. Speech to text, what we call it as. Whenever I speak is nothing but my speech is going to be nothing but an audio signal. Converting this audio signal into a text is very easy. So these are very simple applications only. Simple means if we start developing from scratch, it is very complicated. We already have ready to use algorithms are already available. You directly do the algorithm will convert the audio, whatever the audio you have given, that will be clearly converted into text. But here the thing is, there is a video playing, the person is speaking based on that particular audio. So based on the lip movement, so we have to get that particular text of that particular from that particular video. So let us say that, so in the old videos are there, like we have a popular people are there. So the audios are lost, but we have the videos here. Videos are there. Some popular like presidents, US presidents like Abraham Lincoln or Mahatma Gandhi. So we have the videos are there, but audios are not properly, they have been stored. So they want to develop the speech from that particular, the text from that particular, the lip movement of that particular, the person speaking actually. So those kind of an applications, if you develop, it becomes very easily. So for the deaf people, so if the person who is standing before them, for a deaf people, the people who are deaf, they can't hear them actually. They are deaf and dumb, so they don't speak and they don't. So when a person is talking in the before that, they are going to use some kind of an the deaf and dumb language will be used, but everybody does not knows. So these academic people want to develop an application. Whenever a deaf and dumb person, if he just takes an audio, the video, one person is speaking. So if you record that particular video, based on the lip movement, it has to be gets converted into something like a text value. It has to be gets converted so that the deaf and dumb person can easily understand what he is speaking actually. So this machine learning is not only into approval of credit loans, not only that, a lot of research is also going on. So for blind people and for blind people is there. So converting a images into text actually, images into speech actually. So there is a blind person is there. So what he is doing here is he came to one location. He does not knows what it is doing there. He can take an image of that, and if we give it to the machine learning algorithm, so what is there in the background, it will tell you. Is a bus stop is there? Is a railway station is there? What we are having exactly in that particular image? It can tell you the things actually. We have a lot of such kind of research is going on. Still, there are some of them are success has been done, but still some of them are going to be the research applications. So when you talk about this particular machine learning algorithms or whatever the data science implementation, we can do a lot of research on that. We are working for some commercially for some companies, but actually a lot of research is going on actually. So the video is playing actually. So in our homes there are some videos are there, some kind of an CC cameras will be there. So at the night, whenever there is any person is moving before the camera, it can identify that there is a person is moving. Who is that person also, it can identify that. So for kind of a blind people, that will be very helpful actually. So the person will be, there is CC camera will be placed in front of the house. Whenever if anybody comes, so automatically my AI application will identify who is that particular person. We'll train them. With the known people, we'll train them actually. If the person, he is my sister or it is my brother, my father, my some other person, I will train the machine. If it is not there, if the not person which are not trained, it says that unknown person is there. So it will come as an unknown person is there. So a lot of research is going on. So a lot of academic students are also doing a lot of research based on this particular data, this kind of an application. Yesterday only, some group of people, student has discussed it with me, some academic people, they want to do some kind of an project based on this actually. So there is a video running and based on the lip movement, they want to convert that into text actually. That is what they want to do it actually. So we are studying the case actually. I have to first study the case, what we have to do. There are a lot of research papers has been written on that. It is video to text actually. Video to text. It is not speech to text actually. Video to text is available. We are verifying that is there any existing algorithms are there based on that. We are doing some. We are checking for that kind of an applications. So they are a little bit higher level. There are going to be comes into deep neural networks concept that is not included in our course actually. So quickly understanding, this is our data science workflow. So identify the problem. So domain expertise is required. So separate the concerns, prioritize each and every problem. As I told you, data collection and preparation has to be gets done. Model development is done. The model has to be converted into an application, which may be done by C# or any other programming language. And I told you, so monitor the performance of the deployed model, retrain the model, redeploy the model, remonitor. It is not like an end-to-end application. It is not like an end-to-end application. It is going to be some kind of a cyclic process. So one time if you develop a model, that is not sufficient. So again and again, we have to remonitor the performance. We have to retrain it. We have to redeploy it, remonitor it. We have to do with the application. A data science workflow, it is going to be there. And these are going to be the industry usage of the, these are just, I talked about only commercially. Research wise, there are a lot of other examples are there. So if you talk about research wise, as I'm talking about that, no, so speech to text, text to speech, whatever you want, we can convert it. So the most example, we can see that disease identifications in healthcare and life sciences, it is a disease identification. In financial services, risk analytics is there. And in retail, predictive inventory planning is going to be there. Manufacturing, maintenance and condition monitoring prediction is going to be taken place. Dynamic pricing in travel and hospitality. So a lot of things are going to be gets available there. Customer specific pricing is going to be done in kinds of the applications. So smart grid management, energy the demand and supply optimizations. All these are going to be some of the that use cases of this particular machine learning. So anywhere we can use it, almost all everywhere. Some people has asked us doubt. So apart from software company, it's not only software company. You may be recruited into a, it can be in healthcare. You may be recruited into some kind of an electronics. Maybe Sony is having a lot of AI applications are there. So if we talk about Samsung, they're having AI applications. So our scope is having not to a limited application only. So it can be Amazon. Amazon is recruiting a lot of data scientists. We have a lot of data science jobs in Amazon, data analytics, data engineers, and we have a data scientist requires in Amazon. So why Amazon requires actually recommendation systems, product recommendation systems. Amazon is also having a lot of data is there. They're doing a lot of business. Google, Microsoft, they're having a lot of machine learning and AI engineers are available actually. So research purpose, or it may be for commercial purpose also we can use. And what are the different type of technologies we are going to use? Better to say that there are not technologies. We simply say that there are the different techniques are there. As you know that data science is completely what we call as a data driven science. Sometimes we have to know how to handle the data also, storage of the data. Sometimes huge volumes of data may comes. So how to handle that kind of huge volumes of data? So by using a various techniques are there. The first one is going to be big data. We have a big data systems are there. So I'll give you some introduction regarding what is big data systems in our actual classes also. So big data is a term generally which we are going to use, which represents very huge volumes of data, which are unable to be handled by the existing traditional systems. They cannot deal with them. So big data is a term for the data sets that are so large and complex that traditional data processing application software is inadequate to deal with them. So generally the name big data is going to be used. We have a lot of big data technologies are there, like you may hear about that. We have big data Hadoop, and we have Microsoft HD Insights. We have SAP HANA, big data and Excel, and we have Presto from Facebook. So these are all the different types of the big data technologies what we are going to use. But in our class, I'm going to give you some little bit idea about the Apache Hadoop. We'll discuss a couple of classes. We'll work on the Hadoop also. We are going to work with that. A little bit knowledge, not in depth about that. And after that, we already know what is data cleansing. Data cleansing is nothing but you have to detect and correct or remove the corrupt or inaccurate records are there. Some irrelevant data will come, incomplete data may comes, or incorrect data may comes, inaccurate data may comes. So how do you handle those things? That is a technique what we have to use it. Further also, we have a different types of technologies are there. Mostly we do the data cleansing in MS Excel only. Apart from that, we have other tools are also there. We can do it by using analytics, Canvas, Ab Initio, WinPure. So WinPure is a tool which we can do all that data cleansing can be done very easily by using this particular for the technique of the data cleansing. What we are going to do that actually. So this is a data cleansing. So whatever the data you want to analyze the data. So the data may not be pure data. Then what we have to do? Remove the duplicate values, standardize your data, normalize it, check the quality. If it is not sufficient, again, we have to go for, again, do the repetition of the application actually. That is the way how we are going to handle the data cleansing. And this is also one kind of an interesting topic that is nothing but what we call it as web scraping. Web scraping is nothing but which we collect the data from the real websites actually. That means from the websites, we'll extract the data actually from the websites. So from the websites, we are going to extract the data. Like for example, I may get the data from Twitter. So there is some tweets are going on, some event has been happened. So how the people are reacting. So I can get the data, the live data from the Twitter, and I can do some kind of an analysis based on that particular data. So this is generally what we do it by using something called as what exactly we can say. This is what a technique called as a sentimental analysis, what we are going to call it as. So during the COVID period, so due to some hospital, we have people have reacted on Twitters actually. So telling about how the hospitals are charging. Based on that, so we have done a lot of sentimental analysis. We are going to do that. So whether it's a positive tweet or whether it's a negative tweet. So what type of emotion is there? Whether he was happy, whether he was joy, or whether he was sad. So that is what we generally call it as a sentimental analysis. Even sentimental analysis is also one of the implementation of the machine learning algorithms. So for that, we have to extract the data from the websites and we have to store it in our local systems. Yeah, we do that. It's not with the sentimental data. We are going to with not a sample data. We are going to use a real Twitter data only. We are going to use, and we can do that kind of an application. What I can do that. Yeah, we'll do that sentimental analysis. We do that actually. Okay, Shravan. Okay, it's not with the sample data. We do it by using the real Twitter data only. We are going to do that. And whenever we want to do that web scraping techniques, these are the different types of tools what we have. That is, we have these tools like import.io. You can check it out. These are all the online tools that are available actually. Import.io. You can just go to the go to the Google search, Google, and open any web browser and type import.io, webbrowse.io, Dexit.io. So these are all real tools are available actually. It's very simple. Doing the web scraping is very easy by using this kind of a tools actually. So these are the tools but that are going to be used in the data web scraping. What we can say that this is a web scraping technique. What we can do that you are extracting the data from the websites and we are going to be putting into our local machines either in an Excel format or it may be in a database format. We are going to store it into our local systems actually. And after that we have a data visualization. So these are all techniques. Data actually I didn't return data collection. We can do data visualization, data cleansing, data analytics we have to do. And so coming to the data visualization, these are different techniques are there. As I told you, some trends, patterns, these can be visualized only whenever we visualize the data. We can understand only when you visualize the data. So for visualization softwares, we have a different types of softwares are there. Like we have a Tableau, ClickView, Pika, Excel, R, Python, Google Charts, and many more are available actually. So this small example of an what we can say, this is what we call as a scatter plot matrix, what we call it as. So what we call a scatter plot actually. It is showing some trends. Like if you can see the trend here now, you can see here, if the weight is increasing, if you observe carefully, if the weight is increasing, the MPG is decreasing. If the displacement is increasing, it's a negative correlation. What we can see that actually a negative kind of a correlation. But if you see here, if the displacement is increasing, the horsepower is getting increased. If displacement is increasing, the weight is also increasing. Let's say car state actually, some kind of a car state actually. So some kind of an understanding can be done. And at the last, we'll come to our machine learning concept. So as already I told you, machine learning is a term which was given almost some around 1960s only. It was coined by a person called as an Arthur Samuel. So the person who was given this machine learning concept is Arthur Samuel. He was an employee in IBM in 1959. He coined this term called as an machine learning. And he was a pioneer in artificial intelligence and gamings. Computer gaming and artificial intelligence. He was an expert actually. So he has given that term called as even nowadays, even the games are also working based on the AI applications only. So depending on your expertise, automatically it will increase as that actually. So automatically machines also, even chess is a very old example of the machine learning algorithms, playing the chess. The latest success story is going to be AlphaGo. So there is an AlphaGo. There is a game called as an AlphaGo. So this is a project which has been done where there is a number of combinations will be there. So the machines has been developed to play this particular AlphaGo game. It is going to be. If you want, you can search in the Google. AlphaGo is a project which is going on actually. So in 1959, he has termed this, given the term called as machine learning. We are giving the computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. We are not programming much explicitly programming by ourselves. By using some machine learning algorithms only, they can learn automatically by themselves. So we have a lot of languages are there, which is going to be R, Python, TensorFlow, Vika, SAS Enterprise Manager, or Microsoft, Google, and Amazon Cloud APIs are also there. So these cloud APIs will help you a lot, and we are going to discuss this cloud APIs in our classes only. We directly deploy and we can build the machine learning models directly in the cloud only. We can do that actually. We do that actually in our classes. And this is a simple point which I already told you. In traditional programming language, data will be there and we write the program, we'll give it to the computer, the machine will run the program and gives the output. In machine learning, you give the data, you give the output to the computer. Machine is going to give the program as an output. Simple way of understanding what is the difference between a traditional programming and machine learning program. And this is one of the presentation, one of the slide, which will make you clearly understand. Just look at that particular picture. No need to read anything. So just if you look at the data over the time period, how the accuracy has been increased.
So how much stock you want to maintain for a particular product, how much stock you want to maintain in this particular next month, depending on the old previous month, previous year, etc. So assume the last year's and the last month demand value will occur in the same month, but accuracy is only 40%, 60% it is an error actually. This is error. This is going to be accuracy. The blue color is an accuracy. If you see that over the time period, the accuracy has been got increased. Whereas whenever we have seen the error has been got decreased actually. The error has been got decreased over the time period. It has been increased. This has been decreased actually. So should write like this actually, not like this. Okay. The error has been got decreased. So after that, we used to depend on some Excel. We used to do that 50% accuracy, 50% error is there. After that, some kind of a statistical prediction, 70% accuracy, but 30% error is there. And later, the completely man has been replaced by a machine where we can see that 90% accuracy. Still, machines can do the errors, which is going to be 10% error is going to take place actually. So this is a quick understanding about the machine learning. And our training includes completely math and statistical concepts, whatever that is required, and project that is based on your interested domains, resume preparation, FAQs as usually, and completely it is an hands-on practice, the complete hands-on only. So this is not a recorded videos, and we don't copy and paste. For every class, we'll be having the everything is an online. It's a completely live instructor based class only. We'll type them. No, mostly I don't use presentations also. Everything is in handwritten only. Every day I'll write like this only. Whatever the last two classes I've written, every class we are going to type the code and we are going to share it. It's not like running the PPTs and sharing the material to you. Everything is same, just like in normal classroom training only. Only the thing is we are just working remotely. That's it. It's a classroom training only. We say that it's an online training. It's a remotely based. It is a classroom training. Looks like a normal classroom only, because I will be writing the handwritten notes only, and I'm going to use as this whiteboard software I'm going to be using actually. I'm going to use the whiteboard software I'm going to be using. So using this whiteboard software only, I'm going to write it. I can share this file actually. I can just export it into into an image, and I can just store that, but I can just share this particular file also to you. I can just share it actually. Simply I can save it and I can share it actually. We can do that actually. So every day, whatever the notes I have written in the class, I'm going to share that particular images. So see, for every class, I'm going to discussing them. So you have a lot of images will be there. Generally, this will be shared directly. I can directly share through the cloud. Sharing through the cloud is there. Link will be there. I can just give the link. Otherwise, I can just save it into my local system as a PNG file, and I can store it also. Anything is a fine case for me. So I'll share this actually. Either I'll export it or directly I'm going to just give the link for that. You can just access the link through that particular link. I can do it. I'll share the link actually. You can directly get that access through the link only. We can get it actually. So I'll share this link. This is one way. Otherwise, what I will do is I will just save it, export it as a PNG file, and I'm going to share you the PNG file. I'm going to share it actually. Anything is a fine case. So I'll do like this actually. So save it as a PNG file, and I'm going to share this particular file. Let us say today's class. I'll write it as 1202, which is going to be 2021. This is the way we write it actually. And which is it, for example, 9 a.m. session. So I'll say like this actually. So now I can share that particular file, which is there on the desktop. So this one, I'll share it into the Google Drive and directly will share the Google Drive to the participants actually. Open it. So we'll open it with a paint, we'll open it. You can see the paint. So that's it. This is a notes what I have been got written actually. So scroll it down. You can find whatever the notes I have been got written. This is the whatever the notes I have been got written in the today's class. So that particular class notes will be there. So like this, not only this, whatever the code we are going to write also, that code will be shared actually. Okay. So that's it. This is just an the third introduction class actually. So totally we have done 3 demo classes. So that's it. This is going to be from my side, and this is the end of the demo classes, the free classes, whatever we have been done. So regular classes will be starting from Monday onwards. So conceptually, I told you know, so I have 17 years of experience. So all that experience will help you a lot actually, because except programming languages, I don't talk about Java, I don't talk about .NET, but generally I have an expertise in multiple technologies, not only in machine learning, You can talk about almost all. Even I can talk about Spark. I can talk about big data systems, database systems, reporting tools. I have a lot of knowledge is there. So whatever the type of discussion, I can help you the applications. I can help you regarding those. So anyhow, from Monday onwards, we are going to start with our regular classes. So before that, you have to get some confirmation from the DurgaSoft, and DurgaSoft people are trying to call you, contact you, but some of your numbers are not proper numbers has been given, real numbers are not given, so they're unable to contact you. So from the next class onwards, if you want to continue the classes, I think you have to pay the fees. I don't know about the terms and condition for the fees, whatever it may be, as a consultant trainer for them. So I don't involve in the fees payments and all these things. That is not my discussion. Just please contact the DurgaSoft team, and let's please get the confirmation about the next class after whatever you want to have the terms and condition for the payment of the fees, and then we'll start from the regular classes from Monday's class. Okay. So if you have any questions now, I'll take up the questions now. Any questions, anyone? If you have any questions, we'll take up the questions now. Any recommendations on the books for beginners? Yes, I'll give you. I'll tell you the books actually. I'll share the books, but still we are in the beginning topics now. So it's not the books actually. Yesterday I told you we have some online resources are there. So I have one of the blog is there, which is going to be towards data science. Apart from that, we are going to have a books also. What about the time duration, sir? As I told you, know, every day 1 hour 15 minutes class will be there, at least by 9:10 up to 10:15 10:20 will take up the class. At least you will be having 1 hour 15 minutes class will be there, but our class actual time is between any time between 9 to 10:30 generally. At least 1 hour 15 minutes class will be there. If possible, please show us the course content, please. Yes, right now, just give me a minute once. Actually, you can do one thing. Can you give me your mail ID so that I can share you, because right now in the system it was not available. Mokshit Reddy, can you just type your mail ID? I will make a note of that, and I will share you that particular the course content to your mail ID then. Okay. Okay. Because in this system it was not available right now. Because even actually in DurgaSoft online it was available. Apart from that, I'm going to share my course curriculum also. I'm going to share it with that actually. So because I have more than that actually. Apart from that particular contents, I have a little bit more is there. I'm going to share you that particular contents actually. Okay. So I'll share you the details in your mail ID. So that is the case. Okay, fine. Any other questions? Okay, all of you are getting. Okay, so I'll share it to all of you. I think just give a minute. I'm making a copy of them actually. John. Okay, I'll share you that. Okay, and no worry. So conceptually, whatever that has been shown in the online website of the DurgaSoft, more than that only we are going to discuss. Still, there is no algorithms are there. Some of the algorithms are missing there. I'm going to discuss about those particular things also. Okay. Any other questions? Technically, if you have any questions, we'll discuss about them. And the course duration is going to be almost all 10 to 15 weeks it will take it. Sorry, 10 to 12 weeks it is going to take. Almost all 2.5 months it is going to take. At most case, it is going to be 3 months of time, mostly, because a lot of learnings will be there. It's not that much like simple like learning the things. We will learn the things actually. Okay, so it will take some time. 3 months, at least 2.5 months to 3 months it will take it. Okay. Actually, I should not share my phone number. I should not share my phone numbers actually. So sorry to say. So if you have any discussion, please contact DurgaSoft. They will discuss with me if you have any such type of questions. Or if you have anything to discuss with me, now you can share with me. You can discuss with me right now. Later, that means once the regular classes start, then I will give my number actually. Now, as of the demo classes, we should not give my contact numbers to you. Okay. In regular classes, we'll share my numbers. Then you can contact me directly. Okay then. Okay then, guys, we'll end up the session for today. And tomorrow we don't have a class, Saturday and Sunday. And you will be discussing, you will be continuing on the Monday's class. But before starting with that, please contact Durgasoft for the remaining payment terms and conditions from them. Technically, I'm responsible, so I take the responsibility of the completion of the course contents, everything. Only except the fees. The fees is going to be we have to discuss with the Durgasoft only, because I was a consultant trainer for them. So I works for various institutes also. So that's it from my side. Technically, if you have any questions, you discuss with me. For any non-technical questions, you can speak with the Durgasoft people. Okay. So thank you all of you, and hope you'll see all of you on Monday's class. But before Monday, just before the class only, just we have a 2 days of time, Saturday and Sunday. So please contact them, and you just finalize all your payments and all these things. Without having any disturbance, we can start the regular classes from Monday. From Monday onwards, I'll start with the basic Python classes. Okay. So 1 week, 10 days we'll work with the basic Python, and then we'll go to the advanced Python concepts, which are related to machine learning course. Okay. Yes, I'll share you the whatever that course content also. You can just go through the course contents and you can verify them. Okay. So thank you all of you.